Remember the first picture you made in art class? A bird, a tree, a superhero, maybe a princess? How about a card for Mother's Day? How many colors do you think you used? Well, less than 64, right? This is All Request History. If you've ever been curious about the history of, well, anything, you're in the right place. Subscribe here, put your request in the comments, and it could be the next video on All Request History. This week we look back at the history of the crayon. Now, there are over 300 brands of crayon makers in the U.S. Can you name any others besides Crayola? Well, me either. That's why we're focusing on the history of Crayola crayons. Now, question, what is the most popular color of Crayola crayon? The answer is coming up. The earliest known form of crayons can be traced back long before Crayola was even thought of. Back to ancient Egypt, in the Middle Ages, when people used colored sticks made from a combination of beeswax and natural pigments. These were primarily used for writing and drawing on papyrus leaves, stones, and maybe walls. During the Middle Ages, Romans, Greeks, and European artists used small rods made from a mixture of charcoal and oil for their drawings. These early artistic writing instruments didn't have a wide variety of colors. They were primarily black or brown. In 16th century France, art creators were using similar tools but began to add different pigmentation to create a variety of colors. This is the first time the use of the word crayon can be discovered. It's believed to be from the Latin word for chalk, cray, and the French word oleaginous. Now widely called crayons, these tools were messy and didn't last very long. The modern crayon began to take shape in the early 19th century. A French artist and scientist named Nicolas Jacques Conte invented a formula made from compressed charcoal or chalk mixed with oil, which was known as the Conte crayon. These early versions were still largely intended for artists and were expensive and not widely available. You pretty much had to know Conte or know someone who knows Conte or that sort of thing. As the 1800s closed, two men from New York had a small shop where they worked with color pigmentation. Edwin Binney and C. Harold Smith. They dabbled in art supplies, created a red barn paint that preserved wood better than the traditional whitewash of the day, and a material used in making auto tires more black in color. Now, the more pigments they found, the more creative they got. Then they created a process of combining paraffin wax with colored pigments to make multicolored crayons. Binney's wife, Alice, came up with a French twist on the word crayon and named them Crayola. They introduced the first box of Crayola crayons in 1903. They were made to be non-toxic, affordable at 5 cents per box, and available in 8 colors: red, yellow, blue, green, orange, brown, violet, and black. Now, throughout the 20th century, crayons became increasingly popular, especially among children. Crayola expanded its range of colors and began to introduce special editions and other products, such as larger crayon boxes with up to 64 colors. In fact, 1958 was the first year that the sharpener was included in the back of the box. It was created, patented, and built into the box of 64. That sharpener on that box is still available today. Today, crayons are found in most every classroom and home around the world. Crayola remains the most well-known brand. As mentioned earlier, other companies produce crayons like Crazy Art, Liquid Mark, Play School, but honestly, have you ever bought anything besides a Crayola? Crayons come in a variety of forms, including washable, twistable, and even scented versions. There is, however, something to be said for just the regular smell of a Crayola crayon, even without the fancy scented ones. In fact, in 1982, a Yale University study said that the smell of the Crayola crayon ranked as the 8th most recognizable scent in the world. Nowadays, Crayola makes the crayons available in boxes of 8, 24, 64, and 120. The box of 64 is the one that comes with the built-in sharpener, and the 24 count is the biggest seller. They're also recognized not just as tools for art and creativity, but also as a medium for therapeutic practices, particularly in art therapy. Most communities today offer art classes, Crayola crayons included, at the local library. Now here are some more Crayola fun facts. There are some crayon colors that are very rare and in some cases could be worth quite a bit at auction, so you might want to check your art supply cabinet. They are Indian Red. The name was changed in 1999 because of concerns about the word. You remember the original name of the Cleveland Guardians, right? Same thing. Light Blue was made in 1910 but oddly phased out over the years. The original light blue crayon has only 2 known survivors in the world. Now, look for a purple crayon, not just a purple crayon, but the color purple crayon. Yeah, in 2006, to celebrate the movie, they made a crayon called the color purple. Crayola presented a whole box of them to Oprah right on her TV show. The crayon features Oprah's autograph and was never sold in public. So on the rare chance you find it, you may want to keep it. Now the last and most rare crayon is called the C. Rex. There was only one made. It was part of the Kraft macaroni and cheese promotion. They put crayons in their boxes sold in 2003, but only one crayon was called the C. Rex. If you found that orange-colored crayon called the C. Rex, you won a free trip to the Crayola factory. What makes it so rare is that no one ever claimed the prize. No one even came forward with the winning crayon. So right now it's either in a landfill somewhere or maybe a kid ate it. The largest crayon ever made was in Jamaica in 2017 as a birthday gift for 86-year-old Sri Chinmoy. It's in the Guinness World Book of Records at 17 feet 1 inch long. It's just over 1.5 feet in diameter and it weighs over 1,500 pounds. Now Crayola has a color hall of fame. Crayola.com lists 13 colors as regular colors retired and placed into their Hall of Fame, everything from lemon yellow to blizzard blue. The complete list is in the show notes. Now to answer our earlier question, what is the most popular color of crayon? Well, it's regular old blue. There have been 223 billion Crayola crayons produced since 1902. If you're a fan of crayons, mark your calendar for March 31st. This is when the U.S. celebrates National Crayon Day. This is the day that Crayola retires a color and introduces its new color. You know the famous art piece called American Gothic? It was painted by American artist Grant Wood. When he was 14 years old, he entered his colored picture of oak leaves in an art contest sponsored by Crayola, and he came in 3rd place. He later credited this victory as an encouragement to pursue his career in art. So whether you're a famous artist or an art teacher, you may want to put aside a little time on vacation or even a rainy Sunday afternoon to put down the electronic device. Maybe go to an adult coloring event at your local library, grab a box of crayons, choose your favorite color, and relax. If nothing else, you get a whiff of that favorite familiar smell.